Now
on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app.
Vince Coglianese.
Hey, good afternoon to you. It is now 4:06, News Talk 105.9 WMAL, where we are making sense of the news. Coming up 4:30, Asra Normani joins us. She's doing reporting from Springfield, Ohio. Will bring us the latest from that beleaguered town. And then Mark Morgan, the former acting commissioner of U.S. Customs and Border Protection, joins us at 5:30 today. You can join us at 888-630-9625, 888-630-WMAL. President Trump's campaign is apparently out with a new advertisement today being shared on the internet. It's a supercut of the many Democrats who have talked of Trump as an existential threat to our country, creating the very permission structures that awful people might use to open fire on President Trump. Take a listen. This starts with Kamala Harris on with Ellen DeGeneres.
If you had to be stuck in an elevator with either President Trump, Mike Pence, or Jeff Sessions, who would it be?
Does one of us have to come out alive?
Press always asks me, don't I wish I were debating him? No, I wish we were in high school, I could take him behind the gym. That's what I wish.
I said, no. I said, if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country. Maybe there will be.
That you cannot be civil with a political party that wants to destroy what you stand for, what you care about.
If you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
Person Walker, how do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
When they go low, we kick.
Please, get up in the face of some Congress people.
Yes, I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
That was Madonna at the end. Kamala and the Democrats are the party of violence. Trump Vance 2024. That's the spot. So they put out a supercut of this. I want to get back to some of this in just a moment. Before I get there, I have a press conference here. Let's bring the audio all the way down first. A press conference here. It looks like the Secret Service is now giving a statement down in Palm Beach. Let's bring that audio up. Can we? Right here I'm bringing from the computer source. Thank you.
In case you haven't been with me at a press conference, we, meaning the gentlemen that are up here, which is the U.S. Attorney, FBI, Secret Service, we're going to give you everything that we have. We're going to give you the latest updates. They're going to tell you what's going on with the investigation, everything. And then we're going to do a limited amount of questions. So make them good, right? Don't get into what if and all this. Get legitimate questions. You got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, everybody ready? Yes. Okay. We're here today to give an update on the investigation in regards to the incident at Trump International. With me is the U.S. Attorney, the FBI, and the Secret Service. Just to give you a little information, as you well know, the road down there on Summit is still blocked off. It will be blocked off probably for the remainder of today and probably a good portion of tomorrow until some of the investigative things need to be done and finished. But we're accommodating people in and out, getting them to the library, getting them to the post office, so the public is not going to be that far inconvenienced. The security level at Mar-a-Lago is the highest it can possibly be now. The road closures are back in place and will remain there.
This is Rick Bradshaw. He's the Palm Beach County, Florida Sheriff.
My commitment to the Secret Service is to give them every possible resource from PBSO. Once they determine the level of security that they need, they will get all the resources possible.
Specials, Olympia.
So having said that, I'll let you talk to the U.S. Attorney.
Just noting that Acting Director Will is here to the Secret Service.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Markenzie Lapointe. I'm the United States Attorney for the Southern District of Florida. I want to start by expressing my deep gratitude to Sheriff Rick Bradshaw of Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office for hosting today's press conference and for his department's assistance with this matter. I'm truly grateful for your leadership, sir. I'm also pleased to be joined by our partners in federal law enforcement from the FBI and the United States Secret Service, and also from ATF. Joining us today for comments and announcements are Special Agent in Charge Jeffrey B. Veltri of the FBI Miami Field Office, and Acting Director of the U.S. Secret Service, Ron Rowe. I want to also thank the men and women in law enforcement who have been working around the clock in the initial phase of this ongoing investigation. Our partners include federal and local authorities who effectuated the apprehension of the defendant and have aided in ensuring federal charges were filed against him this morning. We're here to announce that Ryan Wesley Routh, 58 years old, of Hawaii, has been charged by a criminal complaint in the Southern District of Florida with firearms offenses related to an incident which occurred yesterday at Trump International Golf Course right here in West Palm Beach. Routh was charged federally with possession of a firearm by a convicted felon and possession and receipt of a firearm with an obliterated serial number. He had his initial appearance today before Magistrate Judge Ryan McCabe in the federal courthouse in West Palm Beach. According to the allegations in the complaint, a U.S. Secret Service agent walking the golf course perimeter saw what appeared to be a rifle poking out of the tree line. After the agent fired a service weapon in the direction of the rifle, a witness saw a man later identified as Ralph fleeing the area in the tree line. Ralph was later apprehended by officers from the Martin County Sheriff's Office in coordination with the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. Complaint alleges that in the area of the tree line from which Ralph fled, agents found a digital camera, a backpack, a loaded SKS-style rifle with a scope, and a black plastic bag containing food. The serial number on the rifle was obliterated. According to the complaint, Ralph was convicted of felonies in North Carolina in December 2002 and March 2010, and therefore was prohibited from possessing a firearm. The FBI is leading this investigation, this ongoing investigation. As the Attorney General stated earlier today, the FBI is continuing its investigation of this incident as an assassination attempt upon the former president. The investigation remains at its early stages. The entire Justice Department, including the FBI, the United States Attorney's Office for the Southern District of Florida, and the National Security Division are coordinating closely with our law enforcement partners to fully investigate and prosecute this matter. The charges we're announcing reflect the strong collaboration of the agencies represented here. The U.S. Attorney's Office, the Department of Justice, would be unable to carry forth our mission without the invaluable assistance of our federal, state, and local law enforcement partners.
Are we doing this out of paycheck?
I'd like to thank the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. And we have Chris Robertson here, Special Agent in Charge, and your Secret Service for the invaluable assistance they are providing, they have been providing. I would also like to recognize the Palm Beach County and Martin County Sheriff's Offices for operating the defendant. Again, without the local authorities assisting those things, it would be literally impossible to accomplish the things we were able to accomplish on the federal side. I want to personally express my gratitude to the attorneys with the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of Florida and the Counterterrorism Section of the Justice Department's National Security Division for their non-stop work over the last 24 to 30 hours. Together, we'll continue to work tirelessly to ensure accountability.
No, just the gratitude for everyone helping. That's fine. We want information. I get it.
Special Agent in Charge Jeff Veltri to the podium. After Special Agent in Charge Veltri completes his remark, Acting Director of the U.S. Secret Service, Ron Rowe, will provide remarks before we open the floor.
The acting director is there. Are you hearing him say?
Given that this is a pending matter
of the Secret Service.
Court, and the investigation is ongoing. All comments will be limited. Thank you very much.
This guy is a special agent with the FBI, Jeffrey Veltri, stepping up to the microphone.
Good afternoon. For a quick introduction, my name is Jeffrey Veltri, FBI Special Agent in charge for the Miami Field Office. The FBI immediately responded to the scene here in West Palm Beach, Florida, and we are investigating this matter as an apparent assassination attempt of former President Trump. We view this as extremely serious and are determined to provide answers as to what led up to the events which took place. I want to emphasize we're just a little over 24 hours into this investigation, so we're going to provide as much as we can publicly while our investigation is still ongoing. We must also stress that the United States Attorney's Office is pursuing charges, and that limits some of the details that we can discuss publicly. Yesterday afternoon, Martin County Sheriff's Office took custody of Ryan Ralph, and he was transported back to Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. Our FBI agents then attempted to interview him, and he invoked his right to an attorney. In the last 24 hours, the FBI and our partners have been dedicated to investigating the incident and utilizing all available resources. These efforts have included our investigative team and the United States Attorney's Office for the Southern District of Florida, in conjunction with DOJ's National Security Division, are actively working hand in hand to pursue and subsequently execute search warrants. Thus far, the warrants include a video recording device, subjects' cellular devices, a vehicle, and other electronic devices located at previous known addresses. We are coordinating with the United States Secret Service to complete numerous interviews of agents on scene. We have also interviewed 7 civilian witnesses at the scene, and that is just the beginning. Our FBI's Honolulu and Charlotte field offices have initiated interviews of several family members, friends, and former colleagues of the subject.
He has a home in Hawaii and did have a home in North Carolina.
And asked by headquarters and our lab division in Quantico to include evidence. This team is collecting and processing multiple evidentiary items. These range from the rifle, which is an SKS model with a scope and obliterated serial numbers, to 2 bags, the subject's electronics, and what appears to be ceramic tiles. DNA has also been collected from those items, which are being sent to Quantico for testing. We will also process the subject's vehicle for evidence. The Cellular Analysis Survey Team, what we refer to as CAST, conducted thorough analysis of the subject's cellular device locations. The CAST analysis aligns with witnesses' account of the subject's presence at the scene both before and around the time of the incident on September 15th. More specifically, we're continuing to conduct analysis and will be compiling the subject's movements in the days and months leading up to September 15th.
Today's reporting is that he was there for 12
Cellular
hours.
Data shows that the subject was in the vicinity of the golf course roughly 12 hours before the engagement with the United States Secret Service. Our investigative teams conducted a neighborhood canvass in an effort to collect and obtain relevant video footage. The subject had an active online presence, and we are going through what he posted and any searches he conducted online.
He said on social media, democracy is on the ballot. That's why he hates Trump.
Reports and public statements he made that he wanted to recruit Afghan soldiers and others to fight for Ukraine. The FBI has sent multiple requests to companies for returns on the subject's phone and social media accounts. We received several returns and are waiting on additional responses from other companies as well. Our investigative team is completing analysis of the returns and actioning leads as needed, and we anticipate continuing until the FBI knows the full totality of the subject's social media presence. By way of his background, In 2002, as the United States Attorney mentioned, the subject was charged and convicted in North Carolina for possession of a weapon of mass destruction.
It's a fully automatic weapon.
Law enforcement checks also revealed that from 1997 to 2010, the subject had numerous felony charges for stolen goods. I can also share with you that he was the subject of a previously closed 2019 tip to the FBI where it was alleged he was a felon in possession of a firearm.
Oh, he was on the FBI's radar.
And following up on the tip, the alleged complainant was interviewed and did not verify, I repeat, did not verify providing the initial information. The FBI passed that information to local law enforcement in Honolulu. On behalf of the FBI, I would like to thank the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office and Martin County Sheriff's Office for their incredible work in actioning the witnesses' information and rapidly apprehending the subject.
All right, we'll leave it there for now. I got to get you...
WMAL, making sense of party politics, because somebody's got to hold their feet to the fire. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
All right, let's go back to this feed. The Secret Service Director, Ronald Rowe, just a moment ago saying this.
With reports of gunfire, the former president's close protection detail immediately evacuated the president to a safe location. The protective methodologies of the Secret Service were effective yesterday.
Whoa.
The former president's protective apparatus allowed for the early identification of the threat and led to a safe evacuation.
Where they were effective yesterday, the Secret Service's security procedures? How did that guy get so close? How effective could this possibly be? You heard Dan Bongino here on this very station just within the last few hours talking about how the Secret Service has a responsibility for up to 1,000 yards out from the person they're trying to protect. This guy was within 300 to 500 yards with a semi-automatic rifle with an apparent goal of shooting the former and perhaps future president of the United States. I wouldn't run around patting ourselves in the back, Secret Service, for all of this. Coming up next, we've got to talk to Asra Normani. She'll give us an update from Springfield, Ohio. I know a lot of calls are coming in as well on all of this. We've got a lot to discuss. Stay with us.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
Making sense of the news.
Hey, good afternoon to you. It is now 4:36, News Talk 105.9 WMAL, where we're making sense of the news. Coming up 5:30, Mark Morgan is with us, the former acting commissioner of U.S. Customs and Border Protection under the Trump administration. We'll talk to him about so much of the foreign national chaos going on in the United States now receiving attention thanks only to the effort of President Trump and the people who support him raising this issue, and normal Americans everywhere are sick and tired of seeing our country collapse. You can join us at 888-630-9625, 888-630-WMAL. Okay, I've got a lot of things to tell you about. One of them is this Friday in Virginia, the early voting begins. Friday. You have to know this. Early voting begins Friday in Virginia for the general election. So whatever county you are in Virginia, please go to the website, to the Virginia State Election website, and look up where you can actually start early voting immediately. Get in there, lock down your vote, hold on to it, make it yours, and own it. My intention is Friday morning, if you would join me. If you're a Fairfax County resident, I'm a Fairfax County guy. If you're a Fairfax County resident, that Friday morning at 8 o'clock, I'm going to be at the Fairfax County Government Center in Fairfax proper. That's the only location in Fairfax County that's open right at 8 o'clock in the morning on Friday. I'm voting. You come with me. Let's have a party. Let's do that Friday morning. So I'll talk more about that as the week moves along. But just to give you a sense, we're doing it. And let's get it done soon. Bring every friend you possibly can who's registered to vote in your county and get them to the polls. There's that. Additionally, I want to talk to you about Springfield, Ohio now. So over the weekend, J.D. Vance goes on a number of the television networks, including on CNN, and that's where he encounters Dana Bash, the woman who gave the most suck-up interview you possibly could give to Kamala Harris and Tim Walz as they sat down together. And then she gave J.D. Vance a mountain of garbage for calling attention to the plight of Springfield, Ohio. And boy, J.D. Vance handled it so well. Take a listen to this.
Can I make just one more final point about this, Dana?
Yes, please.
You've heard a lot of the media focusing on every possible distraction from the story in Springfield. You've heard them focus on these Proud Boys marches. You've heard just in this interview, Dana, the suggestion that because some psychopath is calling it a bomb threat, somehow we have to then ignore 40,000 Springfieldians who are having their lives worsened by Kamala Harris's policies. Well, what is the implication, Dana? I actually love to have this conversation right now live on air.
Right.
What is the implication when you say you calling out these problems has caused a bomb threat? You accused me of causing a bomb threat. Doesn't that mean you should shut up about the residents of Springfield? Don't you realize you're engaged in basic propaganda to silence the concerns of American citizens?
I was quoting the actual mayor of Springfield, Ohio, begging after the bomb threats, begging federal officials, to please stop putting negative attention on his city.
Oh, my God.
And I'm not talking about the policies. I'm not talking about the very real challenges that Springfield has. I'm talking about baseless rumors about Haitians eating dogs and cats. And that, after that was said on a debate stage, that is when these bomb threats started. And that is a fact. Senator, I just want to move on. I have two other quick
the old
issues
move on
separate from this that I want to talk to you about.
Dana,
go ahead.
Again,
please go ahead.
I think this is actually an important conversation.
Okay.
Look, the Springfield mayor, he's dealing with a lot of terrible things. I certainly sympathize with the guy, and we're going to try to help him out. But he did not accuse me of inciting a bomb threat. He just didn't. And if we're going to take the firsthand accounts of people who are on the ground in Springfield, why don't you bring on some of the people on your program who say that the migrants are eating their pets? You're applying a double standard here. You're saying if one person accuses J.D. Vance, I'm going to take that person's word as the gospel truth,
you have somebody
even
whose
if you
name
misrepresent it. If you have another person who's saying they're eating the cats, you're going to completely ignore them, attack them, silence them, and harass them. That double standard is why the people don't trust the media and why we're not talking about public policy 51 days out from a presidential election.
She's so outmatched here.
If you have somebody you want to tell us about who has proof that somebody ate their cat, of course we want to hear that. We certainly have had no evidence that that is actually something that happened. And I just want to say, I have not accused you of anything. I am quoting the mayor who said, after these bomb threats, federal politicians are negatively spinning our city. They need to know they are hurting our city. It was their words that did it. Okay? I'm quoting him, and it seems to be a cause and effect.
Roll the tape. You just accused me of inciting a bomb threat. There's no evidence of this. I condemn violence and threats of violence. We should be able to do that and also still talk about what's going on in Springfield.
I'm glad to hear that you condemn it. That is very important.
Oh, stop with the sanctimony. It's like so crazy. All right, so do you want the obvious update to this story now? Do you want the obvious update here? So I've been, probably like you, sitting at home. I look at my TV and I go, everyone knows these bomb threats are hoaxes, right? Right? Everybody knows they're hoaxes. That this is just a bunch of nonsense. And I bet you, I don't know, my lawnmower, that it's a bunch of lefties who are making these awful calls, that these are people who are trying to create drama in Springfield. It's funny that you might have that theory. Here's Ohio Governor Mike DeWine just a moment ago. Take a listen.
At least 33 separate bomb threats, each one of which has been responded to, and each one of whom has been found as a hoax.
Wait, what was that?
33 threats, 33 hoax.
What did he say?
I want to make that very, very clear. None of these had any validity at all.
Did he say hoax?
We know that people are very, very concerned, and we have taken some actions, and in a moment I'll let Andy Wilson go into more detail. But we've moved resources into Springfield. So I want to say to the parents in Springfield, These hoaxes these threats have all been hoaxes. None of them have panned out. We have people, unfortunately, overseas, who are taking these actions. Some of them are coming from one particular country.
Is it Russia?
We think that this is, one more opportunity
Is the left carrying Putin's water? Is that what's
to
happening?
mess with the United States, and they're continuing to do that. So we cannot let the bad guys win. Our schools must remain open.
But the media is falling for it, trying to help the bad guys win. Here, all right, let me bring in now a woman who's been reporting from Springfield, Ohio. Asra Normani joins us. She's a former Wall Street Journal reporter and the founder of the Pearl Project as well. Asra, good to talk to you today.
Oh, my gosh. Thank you so much, Vince. I was busy chasing a cat down an alley.
Uh-oh. Well, they're probably used to that in Springfield. That's what I've been hearing. So tell me, Asra, what's going on in Springfield? What have you discovered?
It is such a deep story, and President Trump, in his President Trump kind of way, brought to the national attention, and really global attention from what we just heard, a real crisis in America that is emblematic of small towns across America. I can't even begin to tell you just how much the rot is in the streets. It is not, I just establish the fact that I haven't yet seen any cats being, cooked or baked or and all of that. But Vince, it is a real story of labor, migration that is being handled completely incorrectly. And what we just heard is just remarkable, because I'm standing outside right now and the pulse of the town continues. There's folks pulling into the AutoZone. There's someone going into Moorfield Square over there. Yeah. Folks have gone into work and gone out of work. I got it. It's just the town is running. It's buzzing. Kids are doing their homework, not doing their homework. They're doing their after-school activities. The Haitian migrant workers, I've been tracking them, and they've been going to work, coming back from work, sitting on their porch. The buzz of the city continues, and this dramatic blaming of Trump to, thinking that all hell has broken loose here is not true.
So the realities of Springfield, Ohio, as we understand them, are that it's a town of 58,000 citizens, American citizens who live there, who over the last 2 or 3 years have had 15 to 20,000 new Haitian migrants dropped on their town. And the Ohio governor, Mike DeWine, who I just played audio from, who was describing all of these so-called bomb threats as hoaxes, including from overseas, he alleges, he's apparently responsible for trying to bring a lot of Haitian migrants into town. I know he's a Republican governor, but I hardly care about the subject. He's apparently responsible. He has a big charity in Haiti that he supports as well. And he's among the officials in the state who seem to be making excuses for this on the grounds that they need cheap labor to work for employers in Springfield. What are you hearing on the ground there?
Well, it's so deep because the locals, this is a town much like the one I grew up in Morgantown, West Virginia, about the same population. And the locals just were not prepared for this mass migration that happened all of a sudden overnight in 2019. That's when it began. And I spent my morning today at the far end of town where the distribution center is. That's where Dole is. That's where they have this vegetable distributor. They have all these others, and the traffic is, the pickup of the migrant workers in these white vans is completely true. It's the new rhythm of the town for work over on that side. But meanwhile, it's a complete story of class, because while there's the 50,000, there's a good, 30,000 that are doing just fine, that are the middle class. You know, Vince, I went out into the countryside, saw the well-manicured lawns, and then it's there in the heart of the city that the 10,000 that are more lower-income white families and black families have been struggling the most for. I just came out of the Medicaid clinic, and it was packed. It's just like the reports. Rocking Horse, it's called. It's literally across the street from John Legend's new STEM school that he's starting, and the disconnect between, like, John Legend, also as an example, lecturing the country about not judging this town and the community is off, because there is a crisis, and Donald Trump may have gone hyperbolic in his expression about it, but he sure captured the imagination, because since August, at least, when this one young boy was killed in there's somebody riding their motorcycle, picking someone up, things are going on here. And so this little boy died last August, and that's when I saw that the people started coming to the commission meetings, just like we've been doing, like the parents, at the school board meetings. And this real story is what you hit on with the governor. They just blew him off. I mean, they were rude to him. They told him to shut up, sit down. Your 3 minutes is up. You haven't waited. You're not waiting and turning in line. These people were so sincere. And so when Donald Trump brought it up at the debate, that was almost a year after the people of Springfield had been raising issues with their local politicians. And that's the crisis of, like, failure of governance.
Yep, 100%. All right. Asra Normani from Springfield, Ohio today. Thank you very much. Really appreciate your perspective and reporting. We'll talk to you soon, Asra.
Okay, take care, Vince.
All
Bye-bye.
right, there's Asra Normani. Mark Morgan joins us in the next hour, and your phone calls, I assure you, are ahead. Here we go. It's 4:50 now, WMAL Traffic and Weather. Let's check in with Ed Rodriguez in the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
Making sense of the news.
All right, let's go to the phones. I've got Tony calling in from Fairfax County now, line 6. Wants to weigh in on what took place yesterday in Florida, the attempted assassination yet again of President Trump. Tony, good afternoon, sir.
Hey, Vince. Nice to have me on board.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about what's going on here. I'm actually former Secret Service, was on Special Operations Division, and actually SWAT canine handler. We have dogs that are made to detect these type of things. And one of the things that you look at in this protection, in this bubble, is they're supposed to send out the perimeter. And listen to Dan Bongino, and actually served in the Secret Service with Dan Bongino. You have to go out to where the threats, how long the threat could come from.
Right.
And so to have this wood line completely just untouched by anybody, when we have the assets, we have the dogs sitting there, these assets, these resources. I can tell you one thing, what they're going to say is we don't have enough resources. Well, no, you don't have enough bodies. It's because the Secret Service is stretched way too thin. You just had a caller, a guest talking about the UNG. I have people right now that are actually in the Secret Service. I have friends that I graduated the academy with. They're having to go up to the UNG, up to New York to take care of that. They're still doing a counterfeit mission where that could easily go to FBI.
Right.
There's not enough protective intelligence coming into the Secret Service. They needed to look at the resources, move the manpowers back in, and concentrate on protecting the President of the United States and former President of the United States.
But even if you have limited resources, Tony, what you just described sounds like obviously, it sounds like it's probably expensive to train a dog, but if you've got a canine, wouldn't that be the most basic possible procedure you do in advance of President Trump arriving at the golf course? They said that car was parked, presumably, I don't know about where the car was parked, but the guy was in the woods for 12 hours right next to the golf course. And it's not a huge area. If you look at it from a satellite, it's a small area of trees. He was in there for 12 hours and a dog didn't pick him up?
And that's great. They just didn't deploy dogs. I'll tell you this: when we went down to Waco, Texas, to Crawford for Bush, we had to secure the ridge lines, and we'll find hunters and different people just wandering in because you can't see where the actual line of what the president owns and doesn't own.
Sure.
And we encountered them, and we had our dogs. They were able to sniff them out. Now, I could tell you this: law enforcement has the same type of dogs. They're called dual purpose or bomb dogs and apprehension dogs.
Right.
They're just not putting the resources out there. And whether this is a matter of complacency, it never happened, and maybe we're just not going to think about it, or priority. Now, the Secret Service, because they're so stretched thin, they have to prioritize certain things. You have 5 protectees right now, and they're stretched thin with all the other duties. So the golf course is going to be probably on their lowest priority because nothing really ever happens. That's how the Secret Service view things.
Right.
And so what they need to do is reconcentrate everything, look at a threat matrix, raise it up, and cover these areas that are vulnerable. This should never happen.
No, it shouldn't. And every time we see another one of these assassination attempts, you think, okay, does that not demonstrate that the threat picture is crystal clear? They're trying to kill Donald Trump. We need to stop that from happening. Tony, thank you for your service and for your call today. Hold on. We've got a lot more ahead, including Mark Morgan, the former acting commissioner of U.S. Customs and Border Protection. We'll talk to him. I also have some new words from government officials who just did a Q&A. We'll share that with you.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.